All right. Awesome. Glory Bell just coming in. Look at that.
Word.
Wow. Good stuff. Good morning,
Typed
Glory
that
Bell.
faster than we even
I know. Good morning.
agreed.
Oh, we know where you're at. We know where you're at. Good morning, Glory Bell. Love having you here. Do we need like some kind of
intro?
Intro. You know what, Emma, jump in real quick.
Hello.
Emma. So Emma's going to be manning behind the streets here. Not Salvi. Salvi's out
in the streets. Is that what you said?
In the streets? Yeah,
you
sure.
said behind the streets.
Behind the streets. Sure. In the streets. Thank you.
I'm in these streets.
She's in the streets. Maybe we can do that, and we can talk about like some kind of like fun intro to get us going. Because I don't know if I have like a tagline that I want to say.
We'll come up with something. We'll brainstorm. We'll collaborate, and then we'll do feedback.
Noted. Maybe like we in the streets. We're live.
Oh my word.
Does that work?
Sure.
I don't think you liked it.
I was gonna put on IG that we were live.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Julie's in the house, Samantha's in the house, Allison in the house. Love seeing everybody checking in this morning. I love it. Love being here. I have an appointment at 10 noon, but going 10 to noon, going to hang as long as possible. Yeah, we're going to get into a lot of cool stuff. We have an awesome guest coming in, and I'll introduce him once he jumps onto the live. He's going to be running 15 minutes late. But before, Drew's in the house. What's up, Drew? Good to see you here. Good to see you. Okay. Before we get into many craziness conversations, I'm actually really looking forward to talking fitness with Boss. That's going to be great.
Me too.
It's going to be super good. I was took a deep dive on his Instagram.
Life.
And life, exactly. Mm-hmm. He's going to have so much life.
Good energy, you know.
He's got good energy and his fashion.
I feel like I don't have a lot to say. What's up with this fashion?
It's just cool. Like it's super
I feel
urban.
Like all I ever see is that he's like in a.
No, I would. If you go through this, I just feel I don't know. It just made me question like my fanny pack and my Kirkland choices. You know.
Really?
Not really, but I appreciate it. I appreciated his style.
He lives in a different place than you.
Absolutely. Like I like my Pacific Northwest rugged look. You know, it's really nice. It's really nice. All right, so. Emma, if you could pull up, Salvi uploaded a vlog this morning. We ended up going to Nashville this Monday and Tuesday. Pico Julian, though. Yeah. I think we have to, Nelson, send that over to Emma. Show me what that looks like, you know?
Yeah, see?
Show us what that looks like. All right, so we ended up going out to Nashville we flew out Sunday, and we got back in Tuesday at 10:30 p.m., okay? And we ended up going to meet with our new partners, Journeys, which is super fun. Like, how random is that? It's super random, but it was great. It was a fun experience. Now, this obviously, you guys can go watch this. It's about 11 minutes long. We brought this back. So we weren't able to add a lot of the stuff with Journeys yet because they have to review the stuff and they have to approve it, you know, super professional corporate stuff that, you know, goes on behind the scenes there. However,
it's mostly like our travel.
It's just our travel. Absolutely. And we had a good trip. What do you think? What would be your highlight or recap? What's your recap or your highlight of the trip? You got to nap. When's the last time you got to nap?
I did take a couple naps, but then I think after coming home, I know why I was feeling so tired.
Sure.
Can I just share what's going on with me right now? Because I feel like I'm like not 100% coherent.
Okay, yeah.
And so answering questions is going to be rough for me today.
Okay.
I had food poisoning on the day that we came back, and I was violently throwing up in our bathroom.
Violently.
And I have eaten all I've had in the last 36 hours is a half an acai bowl and a few crackers. So I'm still coming through. This is I had maybe 3 sips of a cold brew coffee yesterday, but this is my first coffee I've had. So that trip feels like it was 6 months ago to me.
Wow. Yeah, you were completely bedridden for
pretty much since the afternoon after we got back.
Yeah. So almost a 48 hour.
Almost.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I have had people question if it was the airplane prosciutto that made me sick.
Absolutely not. It was absolutely not our adult Lunchable. That's not what got you sick.
A few people texted me and asked me if that could have been the culprit.
Sure. No, that was like the top quality one.
But see, Glory Bell said the same thing.
Well, was it Julian's cold cuts and butter stick? First of all, I hope that you guys are able to catch the stick with butter. That was complete satire for sure. That was a joke.
Trish said the gymnastics is about to feel lighter. I am 5 pounds heavier than the day that we left to go on the trip.
You are 5 pounds heavier?
Lighter.
Oh, okay. Lighter than. Well, I mean, here's the thing. If like in cartoons, the projectile vomiting, I feel like that was you.
And all of our kids were like right outside
our
the door.
boys were just outside.
They were in the bath.
They were like looking at me like, oh, is Mama okay? I was like, hey, listen.
They were like leaving stuffed animals at the door.
They were.
I was like groaning like I was like in labor.
Well, it's just so funny. Like, I told one of the guys that was calling just to check in from my men's group. He's like, hey, how you guys doing? I was like, well, my wife got food poisoning. He started laughing. I was like, I can't make this stuff up. Like, we've been on a struggle bus since I feel like mid-December.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we haven't caught a break. Mm-hmm. But I feel, if anything, like, all right, now I've accepted, like, all right, we're in like challenging trial times, but I feel armored up.
Because you weren't projectile vomiting.
Because I'd be a different story if I was the one puking,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like, I've been over caffeinating with like my eyes wide open and ready to run through brick walls,
They're saying, follow me to learn about my new cleanse. Is it the prosciutto on the airplane cleanse?
Stop hating on the prosciutto. It wasn't the prosciutto. It was like, that was a good cut. Okay. I checked the expiration date.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the trip. I just wanted to let people know if I seem a little out of it, I'm not on drugs.
You're on the.
My blood sugar is probably
your
pretty
blood
low.
sugar. Do you need a piece of bacon?
No, nothing sounds good to me.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'll show the people what's going on over here. I was just showing Emma this morning. Look at this delicious breakfast of champions. It's got the bacon, sweet potato cut as little fries with the little kids cutter, so they look really cute and adorable. I got the chicken breast, and eggs. The only thing this is missing is some of my delicious salsa, but that's a flavor, mouthful of flavor right there in every single bite. Okay. Trish wants to know, have you tried drugs? They are great.
Not really. Actually, not really, Trish.
It's good for you.
My siblings have had drug problems, and so I watched it happen and decided to not go down that path based off of their experience.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. The trip, I would say some of the more entertaining parts, which I don't know if this is in the vlog because we have to wait to show the journey stuff, but the level of diversity in the staff. And so these were all their top salespeople, like top managers of stores.
So it was like 500 people, 500 of their top of the top.
And I think he said they have like 1,100 stores.
Yeah.
And so 500 of these like managers from the best stores, I guess, or salespeople from the best stores. But it felt like we were in like a Sims. I thought that it felt like we were in like, in Star Wars when they go like to one of the planets where there's a bunch of different species that live all in the same like big city.
Oh yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. And it was just so that whatever was their style or their vibe, they were 100% into it. So like
big time.
We had like people like in full black leather from head to toe. We had like
the Matrix, like they
colored
look
hair
like the Matrix.
And brightly colored makeup and brightly colored clothes right next to them, and then super urban next to them. And it was like all of it, every type of style or fashion that you could think of was there to the 100% extreme, all mixed together. And I thought that was really cool. And it was a lot to take in all at once that first day that we were there.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my, I was overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
I was overwhelmed. And the only thing I thought it made me question my style. Like talk about boss, like looking, awesome with the style, but this was like,
I'm so excited for you to talk to him. And so that's such an interesting thing because it's not anything. I mean, I know he goes to like cool parties and stuff. I don't know if cool is the word that I would use, but people would think they're cool because he's around a lot of celebrities. But like, I don't know that I've ever been like, and thought about his style.
Yeah,
But
I would
you're
say
clearly
that.
like caught on to it. I don't know if it's just because like it's a guy thing.
I
Like,
don't
or you're
know.
noticing another man's.
I don't think so. I don't think.
Style?
No.
I do that with women. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just never occurred to me with him.
I feel like I have found my appropriate style. I feel like I have. But what I will say though is I rolled up wearing my street parking fanny pack to this event with my Sorel boots, with my black, Lulu leggings and a black shirt. So thank goodness I at least had that going for me, the fanny pack with the smiley face, because
It gave you character.
it gave me character.
The worst thing in that group would have been to have no character.
I panicked and
Like you have to have something unique going on.
Yeah, I found myself petting my fanny pack just so that people
hey,
could
guys,
see,
don't
like,
worry, I
hey,
do
look
weird
at
stuff.
look
I
at my
do weird
style,
stuff
look
too.
at what I'm doing
weird.
here.
Yeah.
It was intense. But Emma, can we pull up the Journey's website? First of all, we learned so much about Journeys on this trip, and just recognizing the exclusive collaborations. Seeing their new lineup of like SAMBAs and like Crocs and Birkenstocks and their New Balance. I was like, whoa.
You're so impacted though by like
consumerism.
Yeah, because like you were ready to buy SAMBAs like when we were there, and then afterwards
just
you were like, I don't know what happened to me. Like I was ready to buy them.
I got zoned in. It was like I was in a trance.
You get impacted.
Can we pull up some SAMBAs really quick? Well, maybe the SAMBAs really speak to me, and Nelson's on here too. Like, hey, we used to be all the, for the indoor soccer, and that was the indoor soccer shoes, the SAMBAs.
I'm not saying that they weren't cool. Those ones, yeah, those are the ones that I
cool.
like.
I feel like you would wear those, and you have like nice ankle to calf ratio, and so like this is a beautiful shoe for you.
Thank you.
I feel like, I would look at least 5 years younger if I wore these.
Are you trying to look younger already?
No.
Because if you're already worried about,
I'm not trying to look younger. I guess I'm trying to distract people from the bags under my eyes. From,
Are you leaving, Kuji?
Are you leaving, Kuji?
Come here.
Look at his style.
You can open his.
You can open it. Please hold, guys. We're gonna say bye to our kiddos.
Come here.
Hold on. Come here, Kuji.
Like
I feel like Boss could wear this outfit and look cool.
You show people your cool hat.
Yeah. Say hi, guys.
Look at the computer.
Say hi.
Say I'm going to play group.
Yeah. All right, Kuji. Have a great day, okay? Cool. Yeah, like I feel like some adults wear this now and look cool.
Chris would wear that.
Chris
that whole outfit. It's like a Columbia jacket.
Columbia jacket with the hat, with like the little bear ears.
He's got the Vivo shoes.
I just maybe I have a little jealousy for people that can pull that off. It's just unique.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I found my unique with Kirkland though.
I don't know how unique it is if it's Kirkland.
That's messed up.
It's just like in piles and piles in a warehouse.
I know. All right, so let's go ahead and bring up, before Boss comes on, which she's going to probably be here any minute now. Let's pull up one question in the meantime. I went through the Facebook page and I saw a lot of cool posts that maybe we can do a little quick Q&A. So let's shoot us with the first one, okay? Emma, just pop one up. Doesn't matter which one it is. Boom. Okay. Who else sees the Heathers like this when you log your workout, smile, and read it aloud, all the while getting a bit of satisfaction that someone liked your workout?
Do people still know what that means?
No. Let's give them a little bit of context.
So there were two Heathers. I can't remember their last names off the top of my head.
Heather Litton and Heather.
Somebody comment.
There was another. Yeah, help us out here. OG, please.
Well, when we had Wattify, you could like people's performances. So like when you would log, if you could get the leaderboard to load, people could like your stuff. Well, the Heathers used to go to like the people at the bottom. Basically, they would make sure that everybody's performance was liked, not just the top people. And they would spend, I had to have been so much time every single day making sure that everybody got some attention and that their performance was liked so that they felt seen.
Yeah. So when we got away from Wattify and started creating our own app, we just felt like we didn't want to miss that part of our community and the camaraderie. And so who else than the Heathers? Because it just was so funny that both of them were named Heather. Mm-hmm. So we just kept that as one of the features on our app as a nice little personal touch. Okay. So yeah, if you see that, that's the history behind the Heathers liking people's posts. Awesome. So yeah, I just want to bring that up and see it's still making an impact to this day. So Heather's, we appreciate both of you. All right, bring up the next one really quick.
This looks long.
Actually, Boss is here.
Oh, there he is. All
Yeah.
right, here we go. Let's get ready to start this episode at 15 minutes in. Timestamp this bad boy. All right, bring him in.
Hey.
Boom.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How you guys doing? What's up? Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Welcome to the casa. Welcome to our home.
Where are you right now?
I'm in my office right now, getting ready to run to a meeting. I just had not a street parking workout, but a just train workout. It was pretty intense. So I'm trying to cool off is what I'm trying to do.
Oh man. Hey, well, we won't even rush into it, man. Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Cool. So I was just wanted to introduce. You're good.
Okay.
I have that happen all the time in my office. I have this little stand where I put my phone, and I'll be talking to it, and then it flops down. It's like,
It just falls.
It's rough,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
But yeah, I wanted to introduce the community to a little bit about you, and this is like very surface because this is kind of what I pulled up from like your LinkedIn, because I know there's so much more of what you do, and it's awesome. So we'll just kind of give it a launch point here, and then add some context to it.
Before you read this, even deeper context. So Boss and I met like 13 years ago, 12 years ago. So we've known each other for over, and so that's the connection. Before you read that, I thought that was important information. We can get into what all of that was, but go ahead now.
Awesome. So Precision in the Boardroom has taken him from trainer to partner with clients like comedians and entertainers, Kevin Hart, pioneering and managing deals with JP Morgan, Chase, Fabletics, or how do you say that?
Fabletics.
Wow. That's like my Mexican side kicking in. I wasn't the best in English, okay? C4, Nutrabolt, and Rally Health. Now, again, that's where I'm like, man, this is so surface. He does so much, right? But you've been in the fitness industry for how long now?
Yeah, man, I've been in the industry for about 15 plus years. I kind of lost count, to be honest. But, as much as, going back to what Miranda said, kind of being an ex-former football player, athlete, trying to figure out what life's journey was going to be, I ended up opening at a gym. Wasn't really my passion at the time. Then I got on the road in entertainment, and I didn't like being called a celebrity trainer because I had been an athlete my whole life. And I'm like, if I'm going to train, I'm a trainer. I train anyone. I don't just train celebrities, right? And I thought that put me in a box because I'm for the people. I'm not for a person, right? Because what I do is for everyone. And so start going to CrossFit, where I met Miranda, actually very interesting. She was in LA working with someone, and we were able to connect. And from there was just this massive opportunity. And I saw her, and then that's when I met you, I think at Crush Yard. But that's kind of how I got into this whole, I was already in the fitness, but building it was always about business. I always wanted to do business, but I knew that was no entry point. And how do you build trust with people? I always tell people that fitness became my golf, right? So rather than going to the golf course, I started to bring people to the gym. And that's how I was able to break down the barriers for relationships, like creating a partnership with JP Morgan called Financial Fitness, and really bridging that gap, being a partner at C4 where I've been there 10 years, and really building long-lasting relationships with partners like Fabletics, and being in the boardroom and driving that conversation. Because what I understood was, no matter how much money you have or where your status is in title or what you don't have, what we all have in common is the gym, right? And then we can all work together and get better together. And so often we lose that, and people lose the connection of betterment and getting yourself better. And I just anchored in that. And so though I wear a lot of titles, the most important title outside of being a dad and a husband, the most important title is trainer, right? I'm an executive of multiple companies. I sit on boards of some of the, I'm an investor in Therabody and Pathwater and a lot of companies that people see individually. But none of that happens without the anchor, right? Which is health and wellness. And so I'll never disrespect that. And I'm so grounded to it. And I'm thankful that I have fitness, because not only did it help me, again, the whole mantra is just train, but people see me and think all I do is train, but it's just train the mind and the body and follow. So as you want to take on a new chapter, I was able to take on those new chapters as I prepared my mind. You want to get healthier, fitter, all these different things. I used to look at Miranda and Julian. I remember meeting you. You're tough. I came around. It was funny. You were like, "Who is this? Who the fuck is this dude coming around? Super cool with my wife." And I didn't know you guys were dating at the time. I didn't know you guys were dating at the time. And I just knew her. We were super, super close. I remember going up to San Francisco working out. She had come to Equinox and done my workouts, but she used to be so yoked. She was like a level of inspiration for me. And as a woman, I used to be like, God damn, Miranda like kicks ass. And I tell people I'm easily motivated. And so no matter where you are in stature or, male, female, I'm inspired by people that are doing things that are either better than me or at the level of me. And because that's how they say a rising tide raises all ships. And that's really what I want to be at all times.
Yeah, I remember that workout. You came to our gym in North Hollywood, and we were just doing a lifting session.
That's right. I remember going overhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. I remember when we went to Equinox, I remember just casually seeing Kanye on the fucking on the seated. What is that? The little seated bike.
Ooh.
Oh no, where did he go? We can hear you. Can you hear us? Shoot.
It's okay. Hold on. Let me see it. Let us know if you can hear us. He might have. We can hear him.
I can send him a message.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Emma, one of the things that we could pull up in the meantime until he logs back in, there's that video that I sent you on his Instagram recently, which was him. There we go. Oh.
Wow.
Okay, he's going to probably jump back in. But there's a video of him. I think he traveled overseas with, I think Steph Curry was the launch point there. But, I liked how he said he was out there speaking to the people. So that might be a really cool one to kind of bring in. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Emma?
Yeah, when he's running.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think there, and then we'll kind of go through the slider there.
Yeah.
Yeah, once he kind of jumps back in.
All right.
He's aware of that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I love how he's like, "Who's this with my wife?" I was like, "Wait, what?" It's just
I can see that going into a social clip.
Wait, oh yeah, that clip there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll wait a little bit. But yeah, I mean, so you met him where was it the first place you met him?
We were at, I don't even remember. It was like a very small studio.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. What's happening? Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on.
No,
I never have any issues.
It's no worries. I was just talking so Emma, you can pop up and introduce yourself really quick. So anything that you kind of be like, hey, can we pull this up? We'll show you. I want you to meet our team member here, part of our media. Her name's Emma. So anything that, hey, can you pull this up real quick? She's listening behind the scenes. So I was just telling her, thank you, Emma, to bring up this clip that I was going through your social media because you were saying I was for the people. Can you pull that up real quick, Emma? Here we go.
Maybe.
There it is. There it is. Swipe over to the video that caught my attention, though. So you were out there with Steph, and can you go through the carousel here? Because you were out there hitting a jog, I think. Give us a little bit more context around this.
In the Mazda. Yeah. Yeah, big dog. Oh, positive vibes. All we doing is moving. But y'all think it's just about exercise. This shit is a way of life. Moving. Staying positive.
You can pull it off. So give us the context. What was going on in this trip?
Man, look, I just did a deal with Qatar and Kevin, and again, man, it all anchors in health and wellness. I get to sit. I've been doing business in the Middle East for a really long time, and was there on a run. And as you guys know, that dopamine and those endorphins start to flow, and the mind gets clear about what you're doing in the mission. And I've been able to take, and was able to take my family and my brothers across the world to see what I'm able to build and do through health and wellness in the lens. And so I'm always just very humble and grateful to be able to sit in these positions. As you know, I talk a lot of trash. Stefan's my partner at JP Morgan, and but yeah, man, I'm just having fun. And when you look at those clips, people tend to think, Miranda knows me outside of what people think I am. Right? Everybody thinks I'm the celebrity trainer. But when I tell you I'm for the people, and yeah, I'm wild, I'm crazy, and a lot of shit I used to do back in the day, I got a lot of criticism for, right? For being overly innovative and doing shit that people was untrue. But now you look at the internet, everybody's doing it. So one of the things that I always stand true is do your thing, stay the course to what you believe in, and sometime it'll catch up. And I consider like this High Rocks thing, not, but it is what it is. Like I've been a hybrid athlete for a really long time. You know what I mean? And what Just Train was to gamify. Like I weigh 230 pounds. I run. I can put up 6-7 miles a day and still bench press 405 and squat. I'm not squatting back squatting like you guys anymore because you guys are absolute beasts. But I'm still putting on some big weight. But I realized that the gym was gonna always be the thing, right? I kept the main thing, and you let those outside distractions get out of your way. And that's how I was able to bridge the gap of opportunity, not just in the fitness world, but the business world, because people want to be attached to disciplined people. I will tell you how inspired I am about watching you guys grow your family and your kids and what street parking is today. I have a CrossFit an affiliate here. We do street parking. I don't know if you guys know that. We
Did you
do
know
street
that?
parking workouts here at Just Train HQ, and
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. One of my favorite things and what was so inspiring to me and why I wanted to be friends with Boss is because normally when you meet high level trainers, and what I mean by high level is people who are paid a lot of money, people who are highly sought after, oftentimes these people have such a ego about that they know everything and they're not willing to try anything new or like jump into like, oh, I know and they get so overly technical about it. But what I love about Boss still to this day is like you throw him like, hey, hit this workout, and he'll be like, cool, I'll do it, and I'll try it. And like he was willing to like jump in at 230 pounds and do freaking burpee box jumps and do, devil press and do like all of this stuff where I feel like I had met some other quote unquote celebrity trainers. I don't know if you remember this, but I had met some other celebrity trainers. I can't even remember their names. And they their level of ego and
There was one that I remember that really ticked you off.
Yeah,
it was you met with somebody that was, I think, one of the Kardashians.
He had been training the Kardashians, and he said, I would never have a woman do push-ups. Like he was like so offended. And just his idea that he thought he knew everything. And it was just like so off-putting to me what his level of ego was. And Boss just doesn't have that. It's like, that looks fun. Let me try it. You want me to do some random new movement that I've never tried? And so there's not just one style of training that he does with people. It's fun still. Like you're really pushing. Like I feel like what this other celebrity trainer was like that I think he said he never wanted his female athletes or his female clients to sweat. He never wanted that. You know what I mean? It was just all very bougie, all very, discomfort. Making them feel happy without actually making them work hard. And what you see Boss doing with whether it's Kevin Hart or just a regular person, it's teaching them how to work and like showing them like accountability. And hey, just because you're rich and famous doesn't mean you don't need to put in the work and get sweaty and dirty just like everybody else. So I see some of your posts sometimes, and you guys out there doing the devil presses and stuff like that. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think, look, I'm a fan of fitness, and you find people that you like. I'm a fan of movement. Anybody that comes in with that level of ego, I've just learned how to navigate those individuals because very humbly, I've worked really hard to be where I'm at today. And I know it's collaboration and not knowing everything. And very humbly will say, you have to align with people that are better than you or have something to offer more than you in order to grow. And so, but that comes with patience and maturity and also having kids, right? My kids have given me a new level of patience. And So I'll say at the top of the mountain, those things are fucking funny to me. You know, I meet those people, but I'll say I've closed off, right? I was always like very open to everyone, but also very closed off. And what I mean by that is like, we can be cool, but when you come with that type of ego, I just choose not to engage, right? Because I don't have to. And so that's where I was able to, like I don't have to deal with that shit, and everybody wants to DM and go, we should collab. And I'm like, collab on what? Because we got followers? No, what are you driven by? What's your mission? You know what I mean? Like people, my social media is not growing the same way because I'm just not interested, and I'm okay because the people that trust me and follow me, that's who I want. I'm not so caught up in the number. I'm caught up in how many lives I can impact. And so I always tell people when they do that, I say, let's grab a cup of coffee. And if they don't want to grab a cup of coffee, you immediately tell me. And then you tend to sit down with people and you got to stop talking sometime because sometimes people feel like you're trying to coach them. At this point, I'm like, man, I'm not trying to coach you. I'm just sharing my life experience. Like I've done some things but you share your keeping, you share your flexing. So I've just learned, do your thing. I'm gonna be boss. I know the authenticity of how I've always shown up, which is why I've been asked to fly across the world to work with leaders and the things because I'm going to show up authentically me. So everybody wants you to be humble. It makes them feel insecure about themselves. For me, I want you to talk about how great you are because I want to be inspired by what you're doing. Because I compete to uplift, I don't compete to destroy. So if you're doing something really great, the world is fueled by competition. Basketball players try to win a game, but at the end they shake hands, right? There's no love lost. We get football players at everything. And so that's what I love about fitness. And I love about what you guys have done because you guys have built community and it's gamified, right? When you can gamify movement in the best way possible, that's where things are going to go up. And I'm just so blessed and humble to be able to understand that my biggest role in this life outside of being a dad and a husband is to get people to inspire people to do more and move more and just live a life.
Well, that's what I think is really cool too, though, when you look
before you go with that, I just want to make sure that Emma, is the audio on is it kind of choppy a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit. If you can connect,
go ahead.
If you're on Wi-Fi, or are you on Wi-Fi or are you on cellular?
I'm on Wi-Fi. I just took it off.
Okay, cool. So that should clear up.
Yeah, mostly because I was like, dang, I didn't want the people to kind of miss your messaging because it was like kind of distorted a little bit. But yeah, I think that should be good. Pop in Emma too if like you just need to add a little pause to that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say what's really cool
I'm sorry about
it.
That, guys. Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. Is like what you're saying, like you're over here training Kevin Hart and Steph Curry and like all these people, and we're over here with like the homeschool mom and dad. Not that you don't also have clients like that, because I know that you do. But it's at the end of the day, like a human body is a human body and a human mind is a human mind. So we're having them do the same stuff. And I think that's where people just need to know, like there's no class level. There's no like fame or ego or status that changes what you need as a human being at the end of the day, as far as like movement and nutrition and all of that. And I think it breaks down barriers.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. As a leader in this space, we have a responsibility to just help people and move people in a great way. And man, like I just want to say, Kalani's calling me, telling me we have a 10 o'clock, but I just want to say, man, you two have been an inspiration. Watching you guys build what you guys are building. I'm just very, very inspired and very thankful that you guys thought of me to be on your show. And I want to come back if you guys will allow me with better audio. Clearly, I didn't know that I was going to be in a bad audio situation today. But
it's okay. Let's get something scheduled. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, so we can talk about because definitely, you have to get going because you have a 10 o'clock. We'll get you on the show again because we'd love to talk about like family and like parenting and like that's the stuff we wanted to kind of go deep on and stuff like that and hear your perspective on.
I didn't know. I ended up hopping in a bit early because what I would have done is just got in my car and drive, but then just to try to take the calls, and Kalani didn't know how long it was gonna go. Sorry. Yeah, my team just when you're in an interview podcast, you just walk in the room. Yeah.
We'll get it. We'll get it squared up. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I want to dive deeper.
Okay.
Sounds good. We'll reach out to you.
I want to
Okay.
dive deeper with you guys, man. Yes. All right, man. Sorry again for my bad audio. I'm truly sorry. Next time I'll be on my computer with my headphones, because Emma was texting me. Out of all days, I left my damn headphones. So it's gonna be a long day for me on calls without headphones. But truly appreciate you guys. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Okay.
All right. We'll talk soon. All right. Take care, man.
All right, man. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Okay. Yeah, we'll get another call scheduled in, because I was gonna start going into like, how is it traveling with your kiddos too, or how often do you take your family with you on these trips, and like kind of the stuff that we experience, and just hearing it from that perspective.
Yeah, if you guys want to just be inspired and also laugh a lot, go follow him. He's at Just Train on Instagram, and he posts a lot of really inspirational stuff, but also a lot of funny stuff and just workouts and things like that. So.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, so we can kind of get into a flow going. There is some stuff that we'll bring up from the Facebook page. And then I think, given our timeline, there's going to be so many things that we can now bring to the forefront, which I'm actually excited about. So I'm bummed, but there's a pro to all of this too. But Emma, hit us with another question that I wanted to bring up from the Facebook page. Activity levels. This continues to confuse me. If I don't do anything other than the street parking workout 3 to 4 times a week, is my activity level low or moderate? According to Garmin, in the past 4 weeks, I have averaged 37 active minutes, with 11 being vigorous.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one. And what I would say to everyone in the world, not everyone in the world, but everyone certainly probably in the US, unless you're like a construction worker or something like that, you cannot expect your daily workout to make up for the fact that you sit all day long otherwise. Mm-hmm. So your workout is your workout. And what we've seen as far as workouts go, the best and most effective way to do that is through high intensity training, but you can only do so much high intensity training. It's by nature going to be short. But you got to get some movement in other ways. Like you got to go for walks. Mm-hmm. You got to get up and about. We saw the lady in her office while we were in Nashville, walking on her little treadmill in her office. Like that, there is still something to, you can't out exercise even in 1 hour, the fact that you just sit the entire rest of the day. So
Emma, you can take this off.
It doesn't really like necessarily answer that question exactly, because I don't know that person, the rest of their daily activity level, but does that make sense?
It does, because I remember the first time when I was like trying to figure out like my macros, mm-hmm. one of the questions is like, what's your activity level? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'm like a very active, right? And you're like, well, hold on, not really. And that was the first time I heard an explanation in that way. Mm-hmm. That was super helpful, because I was just under the impression that I was like, well, look how I train, so I must be highly active, right?
Yeah.
But would you then say that like the construction workers, things like that, those are highly active people?
Yeah, I think the way that we used to talk about it sometimes, I feel like we used to answer this question at the seminars to help people with like their zone blocks or whatever, is super low activity level would be someone who has like a desk job and doesn't exercise at all. Mm-hmm. The next one up would probably be somebody who has a desk job and the only movement that they get is their like CrossFit class or their street parking workout. Higher than that would be somebody who's like, has a very active job. And then the highest, and this is where we would say, because people would automatically think, well, I think it was back then it was whatever you were multiplying your activity factor to get your zone blocks. And everybody that did CrossFit assumed they had the highest activity factor. We're like, no. That's pretty much only for people who have a very active life, like a construction type job, and they're doing their CrossFit or street parking type workouts on top of it.
Right.
But I think because we think we go so hard in our workouts, that means we have a super high activity level. It's not just intensity level, it's volume at that point. So right. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you for answering that. Now, I feel like that question can go very deep, because then there's the idea of the Garmins and the Whoops, as well.
Yeah.
Those
I mean, because we did that. Remember when we did the
with the Amazon?
What was that thing called?
Nelson's listening because he was probably traumatized for all the work that we had to do from that. Nelson, what was that Amazon thing that they were trying to pitch? And they tried to, but I think it fell off. I don't see anything.
Parking had videos on there, but it was like a Whoop or a Garmin, something like that. Maybe not as legit, but I remember because Jeb and I were wearing those things.
Well, remember how like it would like scan you and then give you like a body fat percentage?
Yeah. And then we went and actually had our body fat percentage tested. Jeb's was more accurate than mine, probably because he was a guy and it's easier to do that for a man. Was it a Halo?
It's not a Halo.
It was a Halo.
It was the Amazon Halo?
Was it a Halo, Nelson? But yeah, I remember the workout that it told me was the most intense was when I ran a 5K. And I remember like I ran it, but I didn't even run it really hard. And I had done many other workouts that the intensity level was much higher. And it just, those types of gadgets have a hard time measuring intensity. Because they measure it all by correlates of intensity. Like they can measure your heart rate. Well, your heart rate could be really high because you had food poisoning 2 days before. And so you're just trying to recover, or because it's hot, or because you had too much coffee. Your body temperature, same thing, could be high for other reasons. Women, especially, like our body temperature really fluctuates, like with our cycle and things like that. So they do the best that they can to measure. And I know the reason with the Halo, the reason that it measured the 5K the highest is because my movement, like the steps, it associated with higher intensity than me doing air squats, which it has a harder time, like even knowing what I'm doing. So I'm not a huge fan of those things and using them as the end all be all. I think a lot of times the Whoops will tell people like, oh, your rings are not closed enough, so people will not work out on a day where they would have totally been fine working out. Or maybe you're feeling like you need a rest day, but the Whoop tells you you're fine, so you go. You know what I mean? I think it's just another way for us to be disconnected with understanding and being able to feel our own body.
Right, which is a big one.
Mm-hmm. There's so many things that we have in culture that disconnect us from our own intuition, from our, and this could go way deeper than fitness, but like where we're so disconnected from this awareness that we have of what's going on with ourselves.
Right.
That could go down a whole spiritual level.
It can. Yeah, I was always very, because I remember there was a time where I was like, should I get a Whoop? And you cautioned me like, hey, let me give you the cons around this. It's going to stress you out more, and it's going to add during
the season of the life that we're in too, because it's like if you get bad sleep and it's like your Whoop is like a leaderboard almost, right?
Yeah.
And so you're looking at it, you're like, oh, see, like you already know you got bad sleep because we have children, but then you got this little dial telling you like right in your face how messed up you are from the bad sleep. And there's nothing you can really do about it. So it's just a level of frustration. I feel like that's why I never read the sleep book. The Why We Sleep until I can actually, until we're out of that stage. I don't even want to read it because I know that what it says is probably accurate, but right now there's not a whole lot I can do about it. So I'd rather just have, what is that called? Like cognitive dissonance.
Sure. Jenny, can you close that window? Because obviously I don't want that.
Blade. We got a table saw out there creating our sauna.
You're welcome. We're doing a custom built sauna and I'm super pumped. I laugh because often my Garmin says I need to recover for the next 38 hours. Haha, like no. Yeah, I would say that that's a very, to Miranda's point around, I didn't read the Why We Sleep book, which is a very informative book and lots of studies were done on sleep and it's very good to know that information. It's super legit. What I did not like, and they made me touched on it just a little bit in a small section because I was looking for answers like, I need help with the stage of life that we're in. Tell me like I'm not crazy for like not being able to execute on all this. Am I going to die? Like, am I getting sleep? You know, like
they make you feel like you're like,
yeah, you're in that full panic mode. And then there was a section where they addressed that the guy that was doing all these studies had a daughter and they posed the question, well, hey, how are you? Does it scare you that you know all this information and then that you have a kid and you're not? It's like, well, yeah, I hate it. And it was like,
yeah, and then it makes you angry at your child.
Yeah, like that's it.
Well, okay, so this is again, like I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but sometimes I think that the health and fitness industry, and it's not just this industry, it can be any industry. So there's levels, right? There's like, I know what's healthy for me. I know what's good for me, to include like, I think reading that book helped you to understand how important it is for our children to sleep and how like we need to understand like, hey, let's get them to bed. I know when we see parents out late with like little kids, we're like, what are you doing? Like, take your kids home and go to sleep. No judgment on you guys. Okay.
We listen, we don't
but
judge.
Listen, like that's a big thing for us is to make sure our kids get sleep. After daylight savings, the first week after, we didn't send Banner to school because I was like, no, I'm not waking up my 4-year-old so that he can go color like he can color here. Like he needs to sleep, right? But I think at a certain level, when I need to, like the Huberman doesn't have kids. The Peter Attia, I think Peter Attia does have kids. I think he does. But like these things, it's like, I needed to be doing this and I need to be doing this. And I even remember times with the sauna and the cold plunge where we had like our schedule that we wanted to do in the morning. The more we learn about optimizing, and I need to be doing this, and we start getting in our mind, if I'm not doing all these things, the level of selfishness that starts to come in to, well, if I'm not getting my cold plunge in the morning, then I'm going to be angry at whoever's not helping me or didn't allow that to happen. If I'm not getting proper sleep, you end up angry at your child because you're thinking about like, well, now my workout tomorrow is going to suck. And this is why my body fat's higher than I want it to be. And if I don't get the food that I want, there's a level of selfishness that starts to come in when you really latch onto this stuff too heavily. And I think that the little gadgets,
they can contribute to that depending on the season of life that you're in, for sure.
Yes. I think any season.
Yeah. I mean, you have to just be aware of those things, because would you say that it's like the scale then where like it can give you data and information.
You just got to detach from it, and you also have to realize that you're a real human being with a real life and
That's right.
And you do the best that you can. So I think if you're able to take in all the info and then just do the best that you can with it, like if that Why We Sleep book convinces you to just stop scrolling IG at 1:00 in the morning and go to sleep, great. But if it's making you angry at your child who's having a nightmare, not great. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So there are things that it can help with, or like if understanding nutrition helps you to be like, okay, I should probably get some protein at this meal. Great. If you're like angry at your family because you didn't meal prep because someone was sick, not great.
Right. Well, you even kind of had a sense of that, even talk about most recent experience during the Open. You had that night where we got completely wrecked, no sleep, and you were panicking because like, I have to do this workout tomorrow. And it kind of puts you in a position because we got
normally it was just because we were filming it and because it was a thing.
It's a thing. That's right.
Because we had made it a thing where I was going to be publicly sharing my score and we were going to be filming my performance and I had to say how I did. If it wasn't a thing and we were just going to do the workout, I wouldn't have cared. But it was because I had made it a thing and I felt like I needed to perform at a certain level, which is why I traveled literally the entire world and saw nothing for 8 years, because I needed to get to sleep. I needed to eat the proper food. I needed to train in the hotel. I couldn't go do touristy stuff because I needed to get home as quickly as possible so I could be training, because I was trying to compete and train for the CrossFit Games.
Yes.
Like I missed out on so much.
Wow. Yeah. So, thank you for your input on that. Because I struggled with that a little bit. I mean, I am recognizing that my personality type is the type that would get sucked into that kind of data to help me like find answers around my fitness and where it's at, but then also not accepting and recognizing the season of life that we're in, or also what is my personality type, because that actually could hinder my consistency because I get discouraged.
Well, you've shared recently with me about that sometimes your I don't care attitude is because if you switch into caring, well, let's talk about when you did care about more heavily about like your sleep and your nutrition. What happened to you? You were doing 2 workouts a day. You were pricking your finger and testing
with the
your
glucose monitor, blood sugar.
You were pricking your finger in the morning. You were like so extra during that period of time when you were listening to that stuff.
Yeah. I was heavily influenced and I was like losing, and I felt like I was losing. I was trying to gain something from it. I think I was trying to gain a sense of control for sure with all of that, because I felt like we weren't in control of our lives, given that we were parents. We had so much going on. You know, it was like a level of trying to control something. And, you know, as athletes, that's the one thing we feel like we can control, like is our performance or, you know, our drive. And, you know, like, okay, I can just keep powering through, I can keep doing it. But then, you know, the wall was hit. But yeah, I have the personality type that if I can't go all in, then I go the complete opposite. And then I just have this like carefree attitude.
Which is where you were at with your nutrition when we first met.
That's
when
correct.
I got angry at you on the phone that one time. I like yelled at you.
I know that was like a very like, hey, hold up. You know, who is this person? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Emma, can we bring up another one, please? Really quick, is there any comments that need to be popped up? I hate all the influencers saying we need 8+ hours and other things about sleep. Listen, I have 2 small people. I'm trying, Karen. Oh yeah, it's a real deal for sure. Thank you. Next one. Thank you, Mara. Mara, we see you. We feel you. I'm so glad you're talking about this. I love my chorus, but it will not run the show. We are human.
Chorus before.
Am I saying this right? What's a chorus? Emma, what's a chorus? Is this a... All right.
Like to Mara's point, that's the other thing that will mess you up is it's like they'll say, you shouldn't, unless you're properly recovered, you shouldn't work out. And it's like, well, then when you have little kids, you're just never going to exercise. And that's just not
right. Awesome. Okay. Next question, please. Or not next thing, but next comment that I want to do. All right. So, hello. I'm new to street parking. Day one.
Oh.
Day one. So I brought up a day oneer.
Okay.
Okay. I love this. I've been trying to get back into working out after a neck injury a couple of years ago. I've been so scared of doing anything to re-injure my neck. I've been feeling very out of shape, trying to keep up with my kids, stay active and healthy. So I decided enough excuses. I've cleaned up my diet, done some beginner Pilates workouts for the last 20 days, and I wanted to push myself more. So here I am. Just did the daily shift. It's a very small victory, but I feel a little accomplished for trying something new. Also, if anyone has links on good deals for any affordable starter equipment or must-haves for newbies, please comment the link below. I'm starting off with pretty much a yoga mat and a set of 3 to 5 pound weights. Going to slowly get some things when I can. With 3 kids in sports, I need all the deals I can find. Thank you. So I can address the second part. That's like my special, my bread and butter there. If you want to talk about
deals,
finding the good deals and in fitness equipment and stuff like that. Yeah, totally. What words of encouragement would you give someone that's like day one like that? And, you know, even to that, starting off with 3 to 5 pound weights, you know, is there worries? Is there concerns? And what are some words of encouragement that we can give her?
Yeah, I would say, so she mentioned her neck injury, which I can resonate with big time. I don't know exactly what type of neck injury it was, so it's not necessarily the same thing, but that's a scary one because there's a lot going on in that region that can cause a lot of issues. So it's normal to want to be super cautious. What I will say about any sort of injury, especially like low back, neck injuries, that sort of thing, the worst thing that you can do, you guys, is to allow the muscles around the injury to atrophy or get weak. My injury was not as bad as it could have been simply because the muscle in my neck was so strong that it held it in place. And that is going to be true for the rest of my life. The stronger that I can keep my neck, the more stable, you know, all of that stuff is going to be. So you're doing the right thing by not saying, well, I'm just going to take it easy now because I have this neck injury. No, I'm going to keep my body as strong as possible. But don't feel like you need to rush it, you know. The fact that you're just getting started, remember that consistency is the most important thing. So even if you only use your 3 to 5 pound weights for the first few months, just so that you can really find some consistency and really feel comfortable and really feel like, okay, I'm comfortable with these movements. I'm comfortable, you know, doing this stuff for 4 days a week or whatever. And now I feel like I can add more weight. Don't feel like you need to rush into going and getting a bunch of heavier dumbbells or anything like that. If there are certain movements that cause any sort of issue, either hit up the Facebook group and the coaches on the Facebook group asking if you're doing them correctly. You could send videos, or you could ask for customizations and options to change the movement if there are movements that give you issue, because all of these workouts can be done. You might just have to change something about them because I don't know exactly what your injury is, but.
Yeah. And as far as the good deals go, now we are partnered with Rogue, but what I will say though, is the one thing that I'm not going to advocate for people to go buy from Rogue is dumbbells and kettlebells. You're paying a cost for ship. I love Rogue. I really do.
Unless you're gonna if you're trying to put together a matching really cool gym and you're ordering it all at once. Yes,
yeah, and even when we had a partnership with Rep before Rogue, I struggled. I struggled with that. It's
dumbbells and kettlebells.
Facebook Marketplace those items, right? Because you may pick up a good deal, but if you don't want to get kidnapped, then I would say go to Big Five, or I would say Target for dumbbells or Walmart for dumbbells, and for kettlebells, I would say go to Big Five because I don't like the kettlebells that they sell. I don't like the kettlebells that they sell at Walmart or Target. They're weirdly shaped. The handles are awkward. They're more of they're colorful. It's hey, listen, I just want something that's got a solid base that isn't awkwardly sized. So Big Five for smaller change plates. For if it comes to dealing with barbells and stuff like that, or if you're going to go kettlebells, Big Five, dumbbells, go to Target and Walmart. You're going to find so many killer deals there. And sandbag, add yourself a sandbag as well. To be honest, the barbell's the last thing I'm going to push someone that's new into fitness to purchase. It's going to be dumbbells, sandbag, and then kettlebells, right? And the only reason I'm talking about kettlebells even now is because we're approaching Project April soon. So for those of you guys who are watching, scoop up yourself a second kettlebell. And I'm not going to go too deep into Project April because we'll save that for next week.
Okay.
There is one thing I feel after discussion with Kim, we've decided that next Friday is very appropriate for us to talk about Project April. What's our goals? What's our approach to it this upcoming year, which I'm really excited about. But before even that, Emma, what do we got going on with street parking? There's a BOGO going on right now.
Oh my goodness.
We have launched the BOGO. So I do want to make sure I plug that in. So if there's a season where you're hey, want to talk to a friend or something, can we go to the main website and see the beautiful page that Kaylee has put together for that? You can jump in, Emma. You can say hi to us as you're doing that.
Hello.
Boom.
Oh my gosh, there's a beautiful pop-up for the beautiful deal we've got going on. Let's just
show us what that looks like.
I guess I mean I feel tempted to
sign up for a BOGO. There we go.
Yeah.
Who coined BOGO? I feel like it was Payless Shoes.
I don't know. Can anybody help us out with that? Buy one, get one free. So right now I think it's only a 3-week long situation.
Yeah, so it's you join and your second month is free.
There we go. Cool.
We've done this in the past in December. We didn't do it this past December, but we're doing it now.
Yes. We're doing it now. That's absolutely right. Cool. So now's the time. 'Tis the season. Get your friends and buddies if they've been creeping or using your app to get workouts. Hey, here, you get your own app here. It's time for that.
Earn some badges.
Earn some badges. Have fun.
Get the 75 hoodie.
Exactly. It's going to pay for itself. All right. Thank you so much for showing us that. We really appreciate that. One of the things that I did want to talk about, especially now that the season of the CrossFit Open's over, leaderboard.
Oh.
The leaderboard idea. And if you go into, so this was it hasn't been brought up too much because I think people get it now that we don't have a leaderboard.
Did you sign up for the World Fitness Project qualifiers?
No, I did not.
Oh,
no, I did not.
There still might be time for you.
I ain't qualifying for anything right now. It's not the season. But all right, so when it comes to leaderboard, and again, how we're going to hammer it home why we just don't feel, especially on an online platform, why it's necessary for many, many reasons why street parking doesn't have a leaderboard. But for reason number one, and we'll go to our kind friend Andrew Hiller's YouTube page.
Oh, you got a little clip?
Yeah, go to YouTube. Emma, go to Andrew Hiller's YouTube page. Hate him or love him, he's there. So, and he just went hard on, calling people out.
I mean,
rightfully so.
That's what he always does.
Rightfully so, right? Even if, there's the do's and don'ts, or there's there's one where he pointed out top people or top fails or something like that.
It would have been one of the newer ones.
Maybe the worst part, the worst one right here. You're almost there with the guy looking like he's, there you go.
That's just 25.1 though.
It's okay. That's all we need.
Okay.
It's because it's the best and the worst. So go ahead and click on that video really quick.
You sent in.
Oh my goodness! I got to pay for you to get YouTube Prime so we don't get ads.
You're probably not watching this because I'm like 13,000th in the world.
Is that what you think? You think?
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You thought wrong. It's been a couple of days since 25.1 has closed.
You can fast forward
what
a
I've
little
done
bit.
for you is I have scoured the
Fast forward, there we go. Come on.
The rest of the movement looks good. You get a slap on the wrist for that. You're sitting in number 20. Now, you may have already seen this one. I titled this one, I Want to Go Fast. The reason that this one is number 19, not number 20, is because this individual, Justin Madera, should know a little bit better. Justin did go the extra mile, did switch the affiliate over from CrossFit.
Awesome. Now, fast forward to number like 2 and 1.
But did not redo the workout, is facing the wrong way upon the start of the hybrid boy, also known as Guilherme Melheros, the crocodile,
so,
the great hope out of Brazil, stepping.
Awesome. Thank you. I think we have enough context at this point. Cool. So if you guys want to see, okay, so bottom line, even in competition setting, like it's inevitable. Like you don't,
even when it's like pages and pages of movement standards and what's allowed and what's not allowed. I'm going to be honest. I didn't look at any of that stuff and I was actively competing.
I didn't either.
I mean,
actually.
I think we did enough to like on the 25.2 when we hurried and ran back to our bar and then ran.
Yeah.
But there was like all these standards that they put out to make it fair so that the leaderboard was accurate. And even in the competition, like I didn't necessarily go through those heavily.
Well, it's just so interesting, right? Because I think what this exposes is that I really like that he did show examples of people that, and they weren't like top athletes. The people that moved the best were the people that weren't rushing to get a top competitive score. They were just participating in the open.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like an overweight woman who was just moved flawlessly, like
Right,
really
right.
ensured that she was moving the best, but then you have these, people that are in the competitive scene, not even just the top athletes, but people that are trying to, compete. You don't even know what standard that they're holding themselves to. Like, look at what just got exposed, whether it be squat depth, whether it be locking of the elbows, whether like there's just so much.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, we're out there comparing ourselves to this leaderboard, but you don't know what's going on, unless you watch every single video. And then you start to kind of open up your eyes and be like, oh my goodness, this person's not squatting to depth, or oh my goodness, this person's not locking out their elbows, or oh my goodness. So talk about the pros and the cons of what this exposes.
Well, I see it less so you're talking about top athletes that are doing that stuff on purpose to try to move faster.
There's that.
There's
correct?
that. But then some of the people that are not squatting to depth, it's because A, they don't know that they're not squatting to depth, or B, they have some sort of limitations in their hips and their knees, which makes it really hard for them to squat to depth. So like, do we need to be calling those people in a competition? Sure, we need to be calling those people out because there's movement standards. But like when you transfer that over to a daily workout, it's like take just 20 people doing the workout in a CrossFit gym. Of course, the coach should be encouraging that person to go as low as they can and working towards getting to full depth in their fitness journey and locking all the way out. But like some people, they're just not there yet in even their ability. So they have one of two choices. Either they participate and then they have people talking smack about them and saying like, oh my gosh, this person's cheating, when they're really not cheating on purpose. They're just doing the best they can. Or they don't participate because the people don't, because the person in the 5 p.m. class watches the 4 p.m. class. It's like, oh, Jim wasn't locking all the way out. And it's like, well, Jim has bad shoulders and he was doing the best that he can. And so it just creates this like me against everyone else. It creates this call out culture, which, what Hiller does with the open is fine because it's the open, I guess. But like on your daily workouts, it's just a negativity culture that gets created. And I think it can put people in a position of just not wanting to participate.
Yeah, there's two cultures, right? In the competition setting, Hiller calling people out, rightfully so, because they're like, whether it's the coach's responsibility or, the athlete submitting like, hey, like if you are trying, what's your purpose here? If you're trying to be competitive, you're trying to, then you're going to have to hold yourself to a standard.
But the tough part is with CrossFit wanting everyone to participate in the open, everyone equals the people who have range of motion issues.
Right.
And so if they're like, well, I don't want to participate because I know I have a hard time hitting lockout and I'm not trying to be called out by somebody on the internet or by someone in the next class. Like, so I'm just not going to do it. It's no different than the Garmin watch now. It's no different than like, well, if I can't do it perfectly, I'm not going to do it. So I think there's that. And then as far as us comparing ourselves, that's where this negativity comes in also. And keeping in mind, like, one of the examples that I used to use all the time when we first started street parking is we didn't have plyo boxes at our house.
Right. We were
just doing stacks of plates.
Right.
Was it exactly 24 inches? Is the top of it for step up overs the same diameter or the same, you know, surface area as somebody with a regular box? Is that cheating? Is that fair? Is, you know, somebody might have a medicine ball that's only 13 pounds, or maybe their medicine ball is 16 pounds. Like, should they not put their score in for the wall balls because their ball wasn't exactly 14 pounds or exactly 20 pounds? What if their ceiling height allows them to throw to 9.5 feet, but not to 10 feet? Are they allowed to enter their score? And so on your daily workout, for that stuff to be called out, or for you to be comparing your score to somebody who maybe their box isn't as high, or maybe they miscounted, or maybe they're somebody who has range of motion issues and they're not able to. Maybe they should have done extra challenge, but they chose not to. Maybe they straight up lied. Who knows? You know,
right.
I feel like there's just so much negativity and anger, because the truth is none of those people that Hiller called out impacted what my score was. Now, it might impact people's standing. So I have no issue with the calling out of people that are high up on the leaderboard who are taking top spots or are taking spots away from people for semifinals or whatever the next stage is called. But like, when we're looking at like a street parking leaderboard or like a CrossFit class leaderboard, it's like, to call out somebody who's just in there, they had a long day at work, their kid didn't sleep the night before. I just have a really hard time with, on the daily, when you're just in there doing your workout, there being any sort of need for that or anything positive coming from it at all. I feel like the point of the leaderboard is supposed to push people to go harder. And I know that it can be effective at that, but I've seen more negativity come from it than the positive impact that it has on pushing people to go harder. I feel like what we do with the goal times gives that push to people that is needed without you worrying about what anybody else did.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is why, okay, here we go. Trish, I like filming my vault workouts firstly, as a built-in rep counter, but also to see how much my movement improves over the 6 months. There we go. So even if I don't get a better score 6 months later, I can say, wow, look at how much better I was moving.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, that's why there's so much about reflecting on your own personal why when you're comparing ourselves to other people. No two people's goals are the same. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit and bring it to the forefront, because, you know, if you do see someone bring up the leaderboard, like street parking doesn't have leaderboard, we're not going to, like, it's going to cause more damage than good. And it's just the pros don't outweigh the cons, especially in day-to-day life.
It's just your workout. There's no reason to like grade your daily workout.
Correct. It's just, it's like a grading daily. Mm-hmm. Ugh, that'd be horrible.
It's like if there was like a leaderboard for your outfits every day.
I would be
or like if people had to like enter what they ate that day and it ranked all of us based off of our food choices, it would just, like, the amount of anxiety and stress that would add. Like, we're all over here trying to make good food choices, but if I had to like submit that and then all 35,000 people were like
grading it daily,
I was graded on how I did compared to everybody else on a day like today, when who knows what I'm going to feel comfortable eating today because of the food poison. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just feel like it puts a performance pressure. Again, going back to what you said about how when the monos weren't getting good sleep and I was like, I have to do the open workout today. The only reason that I was stressed about it like that is because I knew it was going to be out there in the public, and I wanted to perform well and all of that. And I think signing up for local competitions and stuff like that is awesome.
That's fun.
Big time.
That's fun.
Yeah. And I know a lot of our members do that. Like Mara, if you're still on here, that her and her sister do that a lot. Mm-hmm. And they go and they have a really good time with it. I think if you know that you're going to do that stuff, making sure, again, like, you're really good with your movement standards and everything. But initially, squatting to depth, locking out, getting your chin over the bar, touching your chest on a burpee, standing up on a box jump, those were not for competition. It was not for the leaderboard. It's to train your body through the full range of motion that it's designed to move.
That's right.
We get our butt below our knees, not for whether it counts or not, but because that's when your glutes and your hamstrings are the most useful in helping you stand back up.
Mhm.
We lock out so that you use all the musculature in your shoulder and your back to hold the weight over your head, not because that's what counts versus what doesn't count. And I think people either A, straight up don't know that, to include some of the CrossFit Games athletes.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that they know that.
Right.
Or that they just have forgotten that that's really the reason that those things are in place.
Yes. So yeah, as far as Hiller goes, keep doing that good work as far as like exposing the competitive aspect of things and keeping people honest and stuff. Yes, great. As far as our community goes, or just people that on day-to-day fitness, just be caution of what it'll do to you, and just be aware.
How did it impact you?
The what?
The leaderboard stuff.
This year?
Yeah. You didn't enter your scores, but I feel like you were like more like looking at all that stuff this year.
No, I remember I didn't end up looking at the leaderboard until the end.
Yeah,
The master section. I would say it was more of like my personal, like I know I could push better, or I know that I could have more of a capacity to do more. But then because I watched some of those guys' shows in the scene, I can see like it was more of comparing myself to like, man, those are the top times I know I would have been in that world. It was just more of a comparison factor that I still have to overcome for sure. Like, hey, accepting that like where life, one, getting older, two, what our life looks like right now with busyness, kids, sleep, everything.
But that's what I was going to say though. Was there like something, I feel like there was something where it almost like pulled you back into doing stuff that you don't want to do, but you feel like, oh, well, if I just did a little bit of extra this, or if I just like, focused on it a little bit more, like because you were looking at it and because the leaderboard was a thing for the short 3 weeks, it almost all of a sudden you're like doing stuff or training more or whatever. And it's not even necessarily because you want to, but you're just like, well, I should be, because I should be able to do this, or I should be able to perform better. I know I can. And it's like, even though you don't necessarily care about it sucks you back into caring about.
Yeah, I would say that one of the things, a lot of the heavy work that we've been working on, or I've been working on, is identifying all the different avenues that pride can creep in the back door, right? So whether one thing is heavily worked on in recovery, but then when you start the recovery process, then you start to see like, oh, this is just a symptom of the bigger issue at hand, which is pride. And I would say that it was just, hey, maybe I have to accept that there's a part of me that I have an addiction towards competition, like a competitiveness that is actually tips on being unhealthy, because it starts to really mess with me in an unhealthy way. And so, because if I get to the root of it, ultimately it's just damaging my pride. Like, look at what you're capable of. Look at what you were capable of. Maybe you can get back there. And then all of that is just to, but well, what value is it bringing? Because if I am searching that stuff, is it just to fuel a sense of a purpose? Is it to make me feel like I have value in my fitness, which I already have I'm very fit as an individual, but now like, what is my comparison? What's my measure? And it's that unhealthy version of me that I feel like it's just exposing another version of pride. So yeah, I think oftentimes people can feel a sense of shame for like feeling like maybe this isn't good for me, but you need to participate. It's like, actually it does more damage than good. So I know myself. How is it any different than somebody like, you got to recognize what are your high trigger environments. For some people, if they're recovering from alcohol, like, would you send them into a bar? Oh, it's totally fine. Like, you just don't grab a drink, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
And how is this any different?
Right. Yeah, I think too, it goes down to, and this could go in so many different directions, like what you pay attention to, you think it becomes way more important or way bigger in your mind. So like if someone like you is constantly watching CrossFit Games, WFP, like all of this stuff, all of a sudden you care about it way more than like the rest of the world really or you think it's this important thing. I can get that way with certain things. I mean, everybody can get that way with certain things. I mean, the same thing happened again when you were reading the sleep books and all this stuff. All of a sudden you're doing all that weird stuff and it's like, whoa, like and it's just because what you where your attention goes becomes the most important thing to you. And so I think it goes back to, who are you following on social media? What are you spending your time consuming? Like, what are you learning about? What are you doing? And is it feeding the type of life that's getting you further down the path to where you want to go? Or is it a distraction? And only you can know that. But
I
I
would
think
say that
the more someone like you or me, but you are more competitive than I am, watchers, I can get that stuff if I start listening to like business podcasts, and you would probably be this way too, like business podcasts or marketing podcasts, or if I start looking at all these other programs that are out there and what they're doing versus what we're doing, and I can get really sucked into that and lose sight of the things in my life that are more important than those things. So I think it is like paying attention to, why am I so fueled about this? Oh, it's because I'm watching all of the Hiller and all the Sevon and and I'm looking at all these athletes' posts and things like that. And that's why I think it's so important. But really, if I just turn all that stuff off for a few days, I'm going to recognize like I was just getting sucked back into the culture.
Yeah, I would say it's interesting too, because for us, because you've asked me like, well, what is it that you feel keeps you watching this stuff? And I said, well, it feels like it's a part of home, like a part of our community, because that's where like we were so heavily rooted in that. And so I don't know, like, and then we know these people, so it's just kind of, but now starting to identify, like, oh, it's bringing out an unhealthy version of me that I don't like. And going back to, it's now recognizing that it's becoming a distraction. And here's the thing, all these things, by the way, we've been having these conversations as of late. So it's not like we've, like, oh yeah, I've known this for a long time. No, it's been exposed, and we've had to bring it to the light. And and what is it distracting us from? And that's the bigger question. And what does bring us peace is when we actually open up and read our scriptures, and when we start to get to know, Jesus more and get to know more about him. And so, there's been an awareness around that. Yeah. But anyway, I think we're about an hour and 15 in. I don't think we need to go longer than this, to get the day going and stuff. But if there's any questions, so that's kind of our topics for today, because I don't want to go into. Is there anything else you want to talk about? No, right? It feels kind of like.
It's like so gloomy.
It's kind of gloomy day to day. I'm like,
super gloomy. It's supposed to be really warm next week, though.
Yeah. But if you have any questions, guys, now's the time. Thank you so much for putting that up there. Go check out the vlog that's been uploaded on the Street Parking YouTube page.
Go follow and hit some comments from the Street Parking fam on Boss's. IG. Let's get him back on. Yeah. You know what we should do? Actually, I'm just going to throw this out there. We should go down to him.
I would love to do that. Where does he live?
He lives in LA.
Perfect. Let's go.
I think.
Can we take a trip down memory lane and just have like an appreciation for how far I've come?
You want to go do a vlog and film where you used to live?
Yeah.
You want to show the people?
Totally. Absolutely.
What true love looks like, because I saw the man
through
all
of that.
All of it. I saw you and who you were going to be sitting right here today.
Yeah.
If anyone's ever had, a vision.
You had the vision. You had the vision. It was unconditional love. That's for sure. Emma, you can pop in.
What's that? How's that breakfast?
I don't know yet, because it hasn't even touched my mouth.
Yeah.
So I don't know yet. I can smell it a little bit. But I want
to know if you still buy me Costco flowers.
Does William still buy Costco flowers? Actually, what I've appreciated is that the boys will.
They like to get me flowers.
The boys will now recognize, like, that, hey, we got to get Mama flowers. And I think it's really special. SoCal trip. Yeah, we want to take a SoCal trip for sure. But here's the thing. SoCal is grand. It's large. So it's like either we go to LA, or we go to Orange County, or we go to like San Diego.
No, I think you could do LA and Orange County at the same, because I'm not trying to stay in LA.
But I think Amanda, if I'm not mistaken, you're like in San Diego, aren't you? I don't know if you can confirm that, but there's a shameless plug coming in here. I see it. Fresh Coast Games on Lake Michigan. If any SP people want to come there, it is a scaled on RX division. I know that the seed has been planted that Matt wants. He's like pitched it. Hey, can you come out and do this with me? Oh my gosh. Yeah, Matt's like, wants to know if I would be his teammate for this. So we can discuss that. Okay. When it drop us, I think the dates he has shared with us. But anyway, San Diego. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I do think I've been wanting to go, and I think instead of going to Fresno for my birthday this year, I think I would want to go back to like North Hills area to kind of take a 48-hour, like, let's just drive around. I just want to like look at what I was doing.
You want to go to that taco place?
Which one?
The one that you used to go that was by your house?
No, I don't want to throw up. That'll give you want to talk about food poisoning. I don't think you can do that anymore. But to go see, Boss as well. That'd be really cool actually. And see,
Yeah, go to his gym.
Go to his gym.
His 3 sons also.
Yeah, that'd be super cool actually.
One's name is Knox.
Yeah. Oh, it's July 12th through the 13th. Okay, we have some time to think about it. Is there a time that I have to give Matt an answer? Let us know what that deadline would look like. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, we're going to get going. We'll figure it out. We're going to throw some dates out there. We'll figure it out. Okay. But yeah, we're going to get going. We had a great, it's going to be a great day today.
Okay.
I think it is. We'll get some rest.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So have a great weekend, everyone. I got to go shopping for all our pizza night stuff for tonight. You can you do pizza today?
I don't think cheese is on the menu.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. All right.
More
Sounds
cherry.
good. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you guys on next Friday.
Okay.
We'll see you
Next Friday. All right.
All right,
Thank
take
you
care.
guys. Bye, everybody.
Later. Just give me 1 minute.